Thank you for tuning in and listening. We are delighted to welcome you to the podcast of Fiona Arrigo, founder of the award-winning Arrigo programme and A Place to Heal. Fiona Arrigo is one of the foremost internationally acclaimed intuitive healers, a biodynamic psychotherapist, mentor and life teacher, and is acknowledged as a leader in her field. In this episode of Sunday Sanctuary, Fiona will be sharing thoughts on what is happening for us in these strong and challenging times, and how every moment is an opportunity for growth.
Okay, so, beloveds, we are in it. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's take a breath first of all. Let's just take a breath together to come together. Let's to land. I am here now in this breathing. To be as fully present as we possibly can to life, to this moment, to this togetherness, to this community. Breathing in, I am here now in this exhaling. And I am here now in this exhaling. I am here now in this exhaling. And feel the gentle connectedness of just being together as a family, as a tribe, as light workers, thread weavers, bodhisattvas, wisdom holders, callers of the change, callers of the new. Just allow yourselves to arrive and to feel this interconnection in your hearts to each other and to this great world that so needs our prayers right now. So, as you all know me, I think there's no need to give you an introduction to my work, but to know really, I consider myself a student of life. I'm not coming from a position of mastery. I'm not coming from a position of anything other than sharing my thoughts and my wisdoms and what I have seen. You know, I've been working for a long time here on this planet, and these are unfoldments that I feel and see in the collective. Your truth is your truth. So if I touch parts or if I resonate with parts of you which help you, this is my intention. But it is not my intention to barrage you with my own opinions. I'm sharing thoughts and things that I have discovered along the way, and particularly in these last 10 weeks, that even though I think that was the last time we've come together, and I haven't stopped. I mean, I've been working very hard and very deeply in my own inner journey. So I'm really keen and happy to see you, and also very keen to know how you are and how you're doing. We are for sure in it, for sure, and in such strong times. And from my perception, they are getting stronger and stronger and will continue to get stronger and stronger. Sunday Sanctuary is set up for us to come together, to hold vision, to hold our intentions for the world that we wish to birth into the world, and to hold community, to inspire and to uplift. And what I would love from this community is to really focus on world peace, world vision, to bring harmony to our very, very, very disenfranchised world. These are such great times of much light and much unraveling, and there is a huge amount of outside noise in the world. which will be affecting us all very, very, very deeply. My intention at this point of time is to offer Sunday Sanctuary once a month. And if we feel more is needed, maybe twice a month. I just have to feel through that. We're going to look at possibly setting up a Facebook page or a WhatsApp group, just so that you can have that inter-community support. So if you feel you would like to be part of a WhatsApp group or a Facebook page group, please contact Margita. Sorry, Margita, but I, all my work is dedicated to community. Since I began to wake up, it's very, very much about holding safe and building community. So if you want to have a WhatsApp group, I mean, it can be for some of us, oh my God, yet another WhatsApp group, or if you feel you want a Facebook page for support, please let Margita know. So these great times of much light and much unraveling, and a great time of noise. I really want to talk to you today about the depth of unraveling, which I'm sure you are feeling, and the huge leap we all need to make in order to hold steady. The energy continues to build and roar, and we can only do this together. This is so important. We need each other. What is important is to realize that humanity is taking its first initiation as a collective. This doesn't mean that there have been Buddhas and avatars and wisdom holders here before, but the group itself is taking an initiation, and this is the first time. And in this, there is huge fear and control coming up. In this passageway, there is so much uncertainty. People are scared and are confused, and we are untangling. One of the major energies is oppression, untangling the oppressive forces. And this is everywhere in our astrology and in our collective in terms of what we are moving through. The collective humanity needs our support. All our work is vital for these times. Fear and control are two of the largest consciousnesses we are clearing right now. We have, as you know, been controlled unconsciously by fear for thousands of years, probably. And it's coming to the surface for us to see in order to clear it and to alchemicalize it. Darkness, for sure, is showing up, is being exposed, and will continue to be exposed as control is being dismantled and broken. More fear comes, more holding on to. I don't want to talk about whether this is a pandemic or 1% of the world control, 1% of the world's control, or 5G or vaccines in this Sunday Sanctuary. But likewise, I do not want us to be naive about what has been here and what is developing. And for us to be able to look at this as it comes up, to be in it but not of it. This is the time for our voice. And we've spoken about a lot in previous Sunday sanctuaries and in codes of living, This is about our discernment and coming into right relationship. It's for us to decide on what we agree with, what we do not agree with, how we focus, and what we give energy to. It is such a key moment for us to hold our vision. As more and more fear and control gets exposed, we will hit something that Laurie Ladd calls cognitive dissonance. And I know that myself, through the years, I've greatly felt that. This comes about as we free ourselves from the programming that we have been conditioned to believe. And as this happens, we're also watching as systems collapse. And we're watching also as there is this great panic globally. What happens when systems begin to collapse is naturally things get louder and louder, and things get censored, which is happening. This is why we need to ask why. Cognitive dissonance is really a place where the brain can't compute. It's not able to feel. It's not able to get it. We'll hear things and they can often be so atrocious. We just can't believe it. This is cognitive dissonance. As deeper truths expose themselves to humanity, often we are unable to accept things or see them. We as humans slowly start to hear truths that we cannot possibly digest or process. And it's often shocking, be it sex trafficking, be it incredible child abuse. I mean, the list is enormous, and I don't choose right now to list these things. But what I do want to talk to you about is, as we are expanding and holding more, this moment of coming up against cognitive dissonance may start to show as we slowly start to hear these truths. And as I said, it can often be so shocking that we can't accept it, or we don't accept it, or we can't even recognize that things are happening. And the bully in the schoolyard is getting louder and perhaps even more mean. We look at what's going on in America. We look at the guns, we look at the shooting, we look at the elections. We just, look around the world at everything that is going on. And we can't compute it or process it or take it through. And yet in these times, we need to be able to feel it and filter it, but not turn away from it, not to go blind, however hard, not to go numb, however hard. We are in a release, this is so important, of global numbness. And we are in the voice of revelation. The truth will be revealed. Right now, in this patch of ground, and probably for much time to come, this is not a pretty time. The inward plane, which I'll talk to you about in a minute, is full of beauty and richness. But the outer world is not pretty. And our work here now is to alchemicalize and alkalize the density all this noise and stuff and revelation and release into light, into pure view, into pure mind, into pure speech, into pure awareness. This is the work. And at this point, my sweets, it's not easy. Nobody said wherever you, whatever cracker you pulled and said that this was going to be easy. It's not true. I love you and I'm here to support. But I cannot say in my heart that this is easy. This energetic of us being able to hold strong in all that is coming is the work for this time. This is why you're here. This is why you're in your other communities. This is why you're in your yoga. This is why you're in your meditation. This is why. What is important right now is to continue to understand humanity is claiming its own mind back. Its own no. But also to understand as we look at a fractured, disenfranchised world, and probably members of our family, maybe members of our community, we are still very young in our wake up, and this needs compassion and wisdom and discernment of how much to give, how much to tell, how much to share, how much to, how much. We need to understand in this unfolding of this moment, we are very young. And we are still in and will be reaction, projection, charge, and triggers. This is what the collective's doing. Full on reaction, projection, charge, and triggers, and living in the there and then rather than the here and now. And this invitation right now is to hold steady and to become as steady as we can in the face of adversity, in the face of what's around us. We are developing, as I said, clear view, pure intention, deep compassion. We are learning to become the witness, not to be driven by our emotional overcharged solar plexus, which affects the limbic brain, but more and more from our hearts and discernment. And we are learning, which is an esoteric word, not in the traditional vocabulary. We are learning to become poised, where the solar plexus becomes still, not the choppy, violent waters of reaction, and calm, and not to add with our energy to the noise of this collective unraveling. Take a breath. So in this, we are waking up, looking at what has been shut down, numbed down, covered up, and why. And it's everywhere. Groups, huge groups, Black Lives Matter, small groups. It's the time of the human evolution to stand up and say no. But sometimes because the collective hasn't grown in wisdom, hasn't developed, it can be very reactive. And so no is yes and right, but reaction and boiling things further is not right. We all know that we have been manipulated and controlled by media, education. We've been sold stories that may not be true, and certainly don't fit into new paradigm. So whether they were true or not almost doesn't matter. They just can't come through into new paradigm consciousness. And us as light birds are waking up and seeing through the miasms, seeing through the illusions, seeing through the Maya. It is a time, and it can be beautiful and it can be devastatingly uncomfortable and exhausting, which is why I keep stressing detox, come away, move in nature, be still, find your peace, find your resonance. It's not easy for the body. It's not easy for the nervous system. You are processing yourself, your bloodline, and the collective. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you. And it's not easy. So we are waking up and seeing through. And just be aware gently, always gentleness, always kindness, always self-compassion, always self-forgiveness, always self-acceptance and understanding, always, 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 always. If anybody's writing anything down, write that down. Maybe Margita, you can put that in the chat. Always, always, always self-acceptance, self-love, self-understanding, self-gentleness, self-kindness. Just be aware of what you're seeing and what you're looking at. Be aware of what you can't grasp because of this cognitive dissonance. Sometimes you feel that you cannot believe something is happening. But most importantly, take care of yourselves. Please write that down, Margita. Give yourself time to come away from the noise and know that we are releasing deep planetary shock, trauma, and indeed grief. Love yourself more, have more love for humanity, have more compassion and more empathy. Develop this, develop this, develop this. More compassion, more empathy, more understanding, which allows you to stand in the middle of everything. Take a breath. Take a breath. Let it sink in. Together is the way forward. As more light comes in, more revelation will come down. As the unconscious clears from the planet, more will come up. So as more light comes in, we have to understand that we are coming out of singular, separative thinking and living into the potential of a new era, a new age, which is a unified field, a unified us. I thought about, I'll talk about that later. So it's a unified vision for the good of all, no matter what is turning up. The Tibetans call this the vision of the Kali Chakra, the vision of the Golden Age. New Age has also got lots of stuff written about this, but I bow to the wisdom of the Tibetans. Well, we pray selflessly and hold our vision strong, no matter what, for the good of humanity. We know that the entire universe is interconnected and working together. The old way is designed to keep us separate and to create singular thinking that creates separation and unhappiness. This shit hasn't worked. Each for his own, each, hoarding for themselves, non-sharing, mass misdistribution of wealth. It hasn't worked. That design hasn't worked, and it can't be in the new world. It can't. There's no room for it. Whether we like it or not, we're in a planetary unfoldment. And we respond to cosmic law. So we are learning to reclaim, we've spoken about this before in Sunday Sanctuary and Codes of Living. We are learning to reclaim our intact selves. And this continues to be the time to harness your own inner work as an offering to the altar of life, to the collective. This has never been more important and continues to be and will continue to be as we roll through this. And as this develops, the laws of harmlessness and selflessness becomes key. We move from what will happen to me to what will happen to us, with no attachment except clear view for the best outcome for humanity, whatever that is. Margita, please write that down. No attachment except clear view for the best outcome for outcome, people, beloveds, not predetermined by time. This is not predetermined by time. It comes from the sincerity of the heart to see a better world. And this may be in your lifetime, your grandchildren's lifetime, your great-great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren's lifetime, if we are to survive. But the sincerity of the prayer is to hold that vision, to hold that prayer, where humanity will transform and we will come into harmony. It is written that we will in many, many texts, but it may not be in this lifetime. So you have to surrender. You have to surrender and also know that as you do this work, if you want to pay off, is your inner work, your inner revelation, your inner connection, your inner beauty, your inner seeing, your inner love, your inner expansion. All this is there for sure. I see our work now as light holders in a way, traveling through, I've seen this many times in vision, through the wormholes of the collective matrix. And as we hold steady and pierce these wormholes, these inner dimensions are opening within the grid. The more light that penetrates by your individual work, Margita, please write that down. The more light that penetrates by your individual work, the more the holding of the old starts to disintegrate. The more light that you hold penetrates these wormholes in the collective matrix, and you break it down, it decalcifies, and it starts to disintegrate, as well as the push from Madre Terra, as well as the cosmic laws that are penetrating this planet over this time, over this cycle. This is the time, Margita, write this down, to take the quiet road of evolution, not the noisy road of revolution. To take the quiet road, not the noisy road. So Osho says, swords are not needed, bombs are not needed. What is needed more is alertness, more meditativeness, more love, more prayer, more prayerfulness, more gratitude. Surrounded by these qualities. So this is you, this is what you hold, inside, outside, holding strong these generative energy patterns or frequency. So surrounded by all these qualities, you are born anew. And this is absolutely true. We are being regenerated, realigned, reprogrammed, for sure. So to try with all our might, with our individual efforts, to become a flame with consciousness, joy, bliss, and in that we become in a way contagious in the new. This silent phenomena that will go on spreading without making any noise and without even leaving any footprints behind it, will move from heart to heart in deep silence. This is the unified field, the interconnectedness. To move from heart to heart, Margita, please write that down, in deep silence connectedness. So we become, in a way, like a collective spine, all of us as light workers, thread weavers, keepers of the way. We become the spine of a bird flying through the collective. The more we join, the more we move together through the middle of all this. As the deep unconscious wounds of what has been suppressed, repressed, dominated, oppressed is coming up. This is how we giant leap. Okay, take a breath. Maybe just look in the chat and see what's been written. Just take a breath. Our work is to keep strong, to stay neutral, to have deep, deep self-care. We've spoken about this. I will continue to speak about it. We have to have self-care in order to be able to nurture, in order to detoxify, and in order to build communities of like-minded. So our nervous systems are clear, cleaning, and we are in it but not of it. We are watching. Personally, I try not to listen to the pandemic chaos. I certainly don't listen to the news. I try not to get involved with the noise of so many interpretations and to find my own alignment to what is true for me. So I urge you to find your own alignment of what is true for you and to hold that strong. Your truth is your truth. My truth is my truth. Together we join in the heart. But it's not for me to make your truth my truth or vice versa. You find your truth. Be informed but not consumed. Margita, please write that down, my darling. Walk in nature. Find simple things. Turn your attention to what we say in Tibetan Buddhism, to the pure lands within you. We know that lower states, fear, chaos, stress, anxiety, control, manipulation, overwhelm and is playing us out. But equally, turn your attention to the pure lands. Turn your attention to the pure land, where love, light, unity, freedom, choice, elegant detachment, expansion, calm, peace, abundance is here. Amongst all of this, it is here and always has been. Turn your attention into that and hang out with friends that support that, your Sangha that support that. Turn away from the noise. Margita, write that down, darling. So this is the way the thread weavers, the light workers, the bodhisattvas align to the new and hold steady. And how we then serve the collective, how we become medicine for the collective. Margita, please write that down. To shine our awareness that is coming up, to navigate the uncomfortableness, to alkalize and alchemicalize the energy that is shifting through. But we have to feel, this is the subtlety of change now. We have to feel and not shy away. This is the work. We need to take it through our bodies so we can alchemicalize it. Not to avoid, to use discernment about what to choose and everything we've just spoken about, but not to avoid. To be able to sit in the discomfort and move it through. This is the work. Otherwise, we're zooming off and we're disembodying and we're going somewhere else. We need to be here in body. And it's not comfortable, which is why you need your Sangha, why you need friends, soul friends, to ring up and say, I'm having a tough time, where you can go to visionaries, meditators, a lot are online right now, thank you, and come into a place where if you can't hold yourself, they can hold you. This is the work. So we have to digest and feel into what the collective is experiencing, and we can get triggered. In the past, we have been great avoiders. We have numbed down, denied, and turned away. And this is not going to be easy to do anymore. Nor should it be. We are growing, expanding, and maturing on this planet as a collective. We are maturing. The more we can meditate, the more we can breathe consciously to release. Breath, in a way, is lubrication to consciousness. And the more that you can look at what you don't want to feel, or look at where you want to flee, flight, or fight. Just have a look at it, not to re-traumatize yourself. We have enough trauma here to last another 2,500 years. This is not to re-traumatize yourself. This is looking from a steady maturity. To stay in your body. I am safe. I am sovereign. I am breathing. I am here now in this. Please do not ignore the uncomfortable. Be accountable fully for what is on your screen. It's on your screen because there's a resonance match, be it past, be it present, be it future. If it's in your field, work with it. If you could write that down, Margita. If it's on your screen, it is past, present, or future. Work with it. Do not avoid. Don't go, That's, doing that is not going to help now. We need to develop this spine. This is what's been called for. It may not happen tomorrow, but this is what we're growing. Do not ignore. The energy, please write this down, Margita, is coming down and in and opening through the heart. It's not us going up and out. It's coming down and in. This is the shift and the leap. So as Margita said at the beginning of the talk, we will be offering as much as we can through the winter. In my own personal work, I will be starting new codes of living once a month, which I've got, which we'll be sending out, memo to self. So that will be once a month starting in October. And the huge amount that A Place to Heal through Margita is setting up. It is massively important right now to focus on our meditation and our inner worlds and to stay in present. As my friend Lassar says, if we wish to live in a world of diversity, creativity, freedom, and kindness, then taking each day as the most important day that we have. Take each day as the most important day that you have. This is related to the Tibetan Book of Living and Dying. Not to, we're not here to change another, but to meet them. Not to do anything but to offer, to pray for the same well-being you wish for yourself to be given to them. That's so important. You could write that down, Margita. To pray for the same well-being you wish for yourself to be given to them. The key and the importance is our voice, our resonance, our speech, our intention. As I speak, I create. As I create, I live. May our words be blessings into the collective. This is maturity, discernment, watching what we say, watching what we think. Our thoughts are likewise what we think and feel. We create through our thoughts. We create through our thoughts, Freudian. We bring this action into our world. This is the Aquarian age, the age of telepathy and manifestation from our thoughts, words, and actions. If you want to write that down, Margita, this is the age of telepathy, the Aquarian age, where we manifest from our inner thoughts, our words, and our actions. So as we come out of pushing and aversion, push-pull, and we're coming more and more into inner stability, into the neutral point. Ramdas, I always love his quote, says, do for another person, be in an environment in which they wanted to come up for air. Be in an environment in which whoever's meeting you can come up for air. This is soul work. And he also says, if I can see the soul that happens to have incarnated into a person that I don't care for, then my consciousness becomes an environment in which she or he is free to come up for air if she wants to. That person can do it because I am not trying to keep him or her locked into being. That person that he or she has become, it's liberating to see another as a soul. Remember, people, beloveds, that we are affecting the world in every moment. This is light work. Whether we're conscious or not, our actions and states of mind matter because we are so deeply, deeply interconnected, like the roots of trees that work under the earth, feeding their communities, interconnecting. We are connected through our nervous systems. We are affecting the world every moment, whether we mean to or not. Our actions and states of minds matter because we are so deeply interconnected. Working on our own consciousness is the most important thing that we are doing at this moment. And being love is supreme. It is a creative act. So we are decalcifying and we are learning to vibrate at certain resonances. David Hawkins did a huge amount of work. It's a complicated book, but he studied measurements of human fields and human vibration. And the book, if you want to write that down, Margita, is called, it's tough reading, is called Power versus Force by David Hawkins. But what I've just pulled from that, from I've adapted something that Helen sent me the other day, is that we are resonant human beings working and clearing consciousness as we move. Our body holds light. Light is energy, which is consciousness. I don't know if you can write all this down, Margita. Consciousness is thoughts, emotions, feelings, traumas. Everything is consciousness. And what we're doing right now is we are learning to feel in a new way, to observe as new paradigm comes in, energy moving through our body. And we are making choices, higher thoughts, as we alchemicalize this density. So old frequencies operating at a certain hertz, and I think Ben's going to put up a graph or say something in a minute, comes from things like anxiety, stress, tension, jealousy, anger, rage, hate, greed, attachment to drama, story. And this weakens, incidentally, also our immune system. So there's a lot of talk out there about, you know, how we keep above COVID by the frequency that we operate at. The frequency of today, the Earth is, I think, 27.4 hertz. But you will also feel as you walk into certain environments, I don't know, for me, blessed, it could be the London Tube, or I could walk into certain places and I feel the density, or I could watch something and I can feel the density and I can feel it, look it, see it, understand it, but switch off. I choose where I want to put my field. Higher vibrations, on the other hand, have extraordinary vibrations. Generosity, gratitude is something like 150 hertz. Compassion likewise. The frequency of love and compassion for all living beings is 150 hertz. And more unconditioned and universal love rises to 205 hertz. So what helps us vibrate higher? Clearing your field, drinking lots of water, breathing, 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 loving, smiling, blessing, thanking, playing, painting, singing, dancing, yoga, qigong, meditating, walking in the sun, exercising, enjoying nature, etc., etc., etc. Food that gives us nourishment, not dead food. Energetic food becomes very important for the energetic, for your bodies to energetically align. Use alive food, not dead food. Drinking lots of water, as I said. Prayer alone goes from 120 to 350. To sing, to laugh, to meditate, to play, to give thanks and live. Living in this resonance helps the collective. Your joy, your play, your hope, your dreams, your vision. It helps the collective and helps raise the environment of where you are living in your field for all those around us. Ben, sweetheart, I'm wondering, do you want to say something now briefly about this in your wisdom?
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me okay, Fiona?
Yes, I can, darling.
Okay, lovely. Well, thank you. I mean, honoured to just share briefly, and thank you as always for your lovely wisdom and insights. And yeah, tough act to sort of follow on from. But you just messaged me last night and just asked if I could show something in relation to Dr. David Hawkins. So I'll just see if I can just share my screen. And if you can just say yes, Fiona, if you are able to see the screen.
Yeah, I am, darling. Yeah.
Okay, lovely. So again, I don't mean to teach anyone to suck eggs, and I'm sure that many of us, maybe most of us, know this already, but a really good reminder at the moment is, as Fiona has mentioned, Dr. David Hawkins' book Power versus Force, which shifted the, the what used to be woo woo, and which many of us used to get kind of knocked for. It's matched up and married the spirituality with the science. And bless him, Dr. Wayne Dyer, who, for me, one of the biggest influences in my life growing up, a voracious reader, sent dozens and dozens of books every week, said that this is perhaps the most important and significant book that he'd read in the past 10 years. So no sort of small accolade there. So this is the powerful chart which we should all really be aware of. And if you can just take a moment, if you're able to see that, the triangle in the middle. So at the bottom on the left-hand side is the arrow, which is Dr. David Hawkins' calibration. So starting at 0, down at the arrow, everything in relation to the top end of the scale being 1,000. Down at the bottom, which is where we're out of the zone, as we can see on the arrow on the left-hand side, it's the emotions of shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, desire, anger, pride. And no surprise there, this is where we as a collective, our fellow brothers and sisters around the world, are stuck out of the zone, in inertia, in fear. And before we even move up the scale, I think just something really important and linked into kinesiology is, for all of us, our innate intelligent system. We don't need books. We don't need to be told what resonates and what doesn't need to resonate. If we listen, as Fiona says, if we can get silent, if we can get into a clear space and just ask, where does that calibrate? Whether it's the media, whether it's the headlines, whether it's switching on the radio, whether it's somebody sort of pushing their views upon us, does that resonate? Is that based around fear, or does that come from a place of truth and openness and transparency? And I think, as Fiona would say, for all of us, just to be really open and to trust our, our divine system that is supremely intelligent. We've evolved over millennia to be here. So that is, if you just take, and I'll send Fiona, and I've got some more deeper detailed information on this, but this in the summary is Dr. David Hawkins' summary. On the left-hand side, if you just look at the arrow on the left-hand side, the highest calibrations: peace, joy, gratitude, love. And these are things that are natural to us that we can all tap into. So just coming into what Fiona just wrapped up with there is, what are the things, what are the people, where are the places, what are the substances, what are the environments, what are the stimuli that bring me closer and tap me back into those natural aspects of who I am as a true being. And again, it's going to be different for each of us. We'll have our different hobbies, our different pastimes, the people, the places, and all of those things. But if we just, all of us collectively, just tap more and more into this, okay, where am I finding joy? Where am I finding peace? What can I focus on right now that I'm grateful for? And just linking in, I think all of us know Dr. Masaru Emoto, but again, just interconnecting a couple of the scientific findings. Masaru Emoto, the hidden messages in water. If we just come back to the charts here, at the bottom, fear, guilt, shame, hate, finger pointing. It's all of this is what the molecular structure of water looks like under a microscope around those emotions. So that's showing the water structure of the low calibrations. We are almost 70% water, as is the Earth's surface. So if we shift more and more of our energy, more of our focus onto, again, linking it into the calibration of love, gratitude, joy, peace, this is what it's actually doing to us internally and then interconnectedly around the world. These are the beautiful water crystals of those high calibration thoughts, emotions. There you go, just a simple word of thank you. Look, thank you. We are international brothers and sisters. It doesn't matter which language it is spoken in. Gratitude, forms almost perfect water structures. So there's loads of scientific research around this. Greg Brader and Chris Nagy, The Healing Power of Meditation from Shambhala, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Dr. Bruce Lipton, Dr. Hugh Len with the Ho'oponopono. And yeah, I'll send you these slides. But basically, if we can all just remember Dr. David Hawkins' power versus force, and just to trust our system. Is that serving me? Where is that on the calibration? Is it at the low end of the spectrum? If so, it's not about judging anyone. It's not about judging ourselves. It's just about being aware. And my dear friend, Dr. Manish Yusri, a dear, wonderful man who is also doing great work, he's got a lovely expression, which I'd just like to share, which is awareness, which is exactly what Fiona's been saying. Awareness, basically consciousness, being aware. Awareness plus compassion. So awareness, but without judgment, not judging ourselves, having empathy for ourselves or for others. Awareness plus compassion equals freedom. It totally interlinks. Empathy for ourselves, for others, being aware, and just reminding ourselves of Dr. David Hawkins' calibration charts here. So in a quick summary, I hope that's useful. But thank you, Fiona. Love you loads, sister.
Oh, bless you, Ben. Bless you. Thank you so much. What a joy you are. Thank you. And Ben is also super kind in making sure that we have all this always recorded. So it's always on Spotify or on our Place to Hear website, or I think on YouTube. And he works tirelessly for humanity. Thank you so much.
Bless you. Thank you, and love you all loads. It's I think this is a very exciting time. I believe that we're blessed. Again, better questions give us better responses and better answers. But yeah. Why are we here? You know, what an incredible time in humanity's history to be, and for us to be interconnected on a call like this through yourself, Fiona, and everyone who's here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So just following, I mean, there's almost nothing to say after what Ben's just said, but just to follow on from that, you know, to have this self-compassion where knowing you are not meant right now to get this right. Please remember we are learning, and let go of self-judgment, self-hatred, self-hurt, self-criticism. We are learning. So I keep stressing, be kind, kind, kind to yourself. And thank yourself daily for the work and good intentions you put into the world. This is an age of you being accountable to yourself and to life. This is an age of service. This is an age of serve us. This is an age of deep gestation of nurturing of yourself, your soul, so that your new self, your embryo, can flower into the new becoming, the new world. And in the pandemic noisiness, for me, every day, you might want to write this down, Margita, I choose universal law, cosmic law, over humanity's law. Every day I turn to the cosmic cycles of university law and universal law and try to stay aligned to that. So to know we are safe in this dismantling, the more we choose the resonance of what I've been talking about what Ben has just showed us, we choose our thoughts, meet ourselves with all that is going on, the more we breathe and alchemicalize and choose the consciousness of well-being, the more we will be able to move through this, understanding all the blessings that are happening right now, all the gifts, all the shared conversations. My goodness gracious, if we put ourselves back 150 years ago, we wouldn't have had any of this. There's such a richness here now. But also understanding the dark is going to get louder. And as we see it, we speak our truth, we shine our light, we vibrate in higher frequency, we understand the bigger picture. We hold compassion for ourselves and for all human beings. This shifts, and we come out of the fear that is being pushed around: COVID, lockdown, economy, vaccines, panic. So rest, rest, and rest. Give yourself time. Discharge, self-regulate in order to co-create. Remain as much as you possibly can in the field of neutrality. This is not no action. That's not neutrality. Neutrality is no charge, no trigger, but you can be very ferocious and very powerful, but from neutrality, not from charge. Neutrality, I believe, is the currency for the new. To be empty of personal, of the personal. So one giant leap, leap are the different choices, the understanding that everything is designed to move, not to tighten, not to constrict, not to over-identify, not to avoid, to feel and breathe as much as you can, to be out in nature, let nature's nervous system heal you, and shake, and breathe, and shake. Seek stillness and silence. Come out of self-criticism, criticisms into the world, projections. Watch our minds. Say what you mean what you say. We are not being locked down, people, beloveds. We can find freedom. We are expansion. Our creativity is vital, as is our life force. And have the deepest, deepest respect for life. This is how we shift the human collective in this moment. This is how we aid the collective ascension, to bring wisdom and light, not fear and divisiveness. To bring wisdom and light, not fear and divisiveness. To become the peacekeepers for our earth. And we will become quicker and quicker and more energized at clearing stuff. It will just become very natural. And remember that an awakened person will look within and take responsibility. The unawakened person will look and see who they can blame. They'll abdicate. Outer conflict is war and noise, divide and conquer. To split, this is how control and fear holds, is to split and break up. And how to look all the time at how we become inner peace walkers, how we transform the inner collective. COVID in the early part offered us this great moment of reprise, reset, as a moment to be still enough so that we can listen. A moment that we were still enough to atone. Atone is to become one. At-one-ment, atonement. To become one. Thus, if there's no inner conflict in you, we do not see the outer conflict, even though, or we do not react to the outer conflict. In these times, it is super, super important that we live in harmony in our bodies, that we live in emptiness, that we have peace in our root chakra, and that we are removing the imprints that we have absorbed from what we have inherited. Your lives matter. Who you are, what you are, how you think, how you be. And thank you for the work that you are showing up right now to do.
Thank you for taking the time to listen. If you enjoyed this episode, please do comment, like, subscribe and share so that we can collectively assist more people in these times. Please ensure that you are on our mailing list via www.thearrigoprogram.com to stay connected and informed for future Sunday Sanctuary announcements. Be well and look after yourself. Sending you our blessings. Goodbye for now.